Hey there, mamas! You are listening to Release Your Inner Power podcast, where we talk about having both me time and being the best mom, sharing stories, encouragement, and tips for taking the steps to release that inner power and that mom guilt. I'm your host, Tasha B. Here we go. One quick thing before we get started. I will be doing a drawing for a fun gift each month. Here are 3 ways to enter. You can email me to share your juicy takeaways, topic ideas you want to hear, or share a story. Share this podcast on social media and tag me with what episode you listened to and what you learned or loved about it. And if you leave a review, you will get 2 entries into the drawing. I will announce the winner the last week of each month. Okay, let's get started. I want to introduce you to somebody that is going to be with us once a month, maybe 2, depending on the month. She is a mama of 5. She's a multiple business owner. She is a magic maker and an amazing person that I'm so lucky to have in my life that I want to share her also with all of you. Here she is, Tasha Brooke.
Hello, hello. Welcome to the show, Tasha.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to do this. I'm so excited to have you here. It's going to be fun. So as you all know, Tasha is going to be visiting us quite often on this show, and I wanted to start off with a bang and have her tell her story, a little bit of something about who she is and what she's passionate about, and, see what juicy information comes out of this.
Sure. Great. Well, I'm Tasha, like Shauna said. We are family through marriage. I am a mama, a business owner, a wife. I like to consider myself kind of a jack of all trades, do a lot of different things, some that fit together, some that don't seem to fit together. I currently own and operate a construction company, a tree service and excavation, with my husband, Adam, and homeschool our children. We have 5 kids, 4 of which are in school, and then a 2.5-year-old. I also have another business where I inspire moms and I give intuitive readings. In very short, I kind of have a hard time explaining exactly what it is I do in our sessions because they are so vast and individualized. But it's definitely a focus on intuitive and channeled messages to help them live a more authentic and true life. So that's kind of a little bit of an introduction and some of the things that I do. What else?
One of the things that amazes me about you is it always amazes me about women who have multiple kids. I have 3. And so I feel like I feel like the more kids you have, the more you have to learn. I call it like spinning plates or juggling, right? So you have to learn, it's like a reset. You have another kiddo. You have to reset, kind of readjust. Okay, another person. And then this is how we're going to do things. And it takes a little bit. It takes a little bit of time to kind of find your flow as a family when another one comes in. And that's one thing that I love watching with you having 5 children, because I'm just like, whoa, knowing what it entails and then seeing that there's more and just sitting back and watching how it unfolds for you and how you parent your kids is just amazing to me. So thank you. Thank you for allowing me to watch it and see you guys grow up. It's so much fun. Do you have any fun stories or tips or things that you do for your family specific of being a family of 7 together that really helps you guys thrive as a family?
Good question. So there's a lot of energy in our family, as you can imagine, with 7. We always want to maximize our days and maximize our lives, which is good. And also, I am kind of more of an introverted mom. I love home. I'm a total homebody. I am social, but like in the comfort of my own, choosing. My kids are all very social. And so we have kind of a balance of, how do I explain it? Like trying to meet everybody's individual needs while taking care of like the whole unit. So my kids are definitely like on the go, want to do things. And it is I don't like to use the word balance, because I feel like it's so overplayed, but like it's just a balance of listening to the needs and wants and desires of the kids while also honoring me and the whole unit. Because we have a range of ages of kids. Like our oldest, Wyatt, he's almost 13, and the youngest is 2.5. The next youngest is 5. And my 2 younger kids do need more like rest and downtime, while my other kids are like older and more active and on the go. My younger kids do not want to miss out on anything though. Like they have FOMO. They do not want to stop. They don't want to nap. They don't want to rest. They want to keep going with everyone. So it's kind of like listening to the needs of everyone and just doing your best to try to meet everybody's needs and the whole. I feel like that was very repetitive, and I don't even know if that answered your question.
No, it does. It does, because I feel like it's interesting that you say that, because I also too parent very similar. And it goes back to like spinning the plates, like making sure that each one, right? Like each one, okay. And you have to parent them very differently because they're all very different individuals, right? I'm sure a lot of times during our talks together, we're going to be talking about human design. Absolutely. And in my family, we, out of the 4 of us that live at home, 3 of us are projectors and 1 of us is a generator. And so there is also big energy in my home. And we, and making sure, what my oldest needs are met versus the middle and youngest needs each separately are very different. Even though 2 of them are projectors and 1 of them's a generator, they're all still very different on how they need to be like nurtured, loved, belonging, significance, all of the things, to make sure that relationship and bond is very strong. And then how can we add that together, like as a family unit? A family unit, and like, almost like build this, I don't know how I visualize it, because I'm totally a visual person, is like we're building this huge, big, magical bubble that's like surrounding us, of like this light, I guess. It makes your light bigger. Like when you build those bonds and the relationships, it makes the light bigger. It makes the family stronger. It makes the bond stronger, which, in turn teaches them to also lift you up when you're lifting them up. It's like a little pulley system. They pull a little bit, you pull a little bit, they pull a little bit, So I think that's awesome that you said that, because you went deeper with it, right? You went to like needs, and you went to what fills your kids up, what fills your family up. And that in tune shows like what is important to you and what you value also, right? Which I love. I love that. I love going to the deeper level and filling up all the cups, fill up all the cups, and then go from there.
Yeah.
I love that.
And it can be hard to fill everybody's cup up too, right?
Yes.
And there's a lot of talk and a lot of communication in our family. So I find that really important. I'm definitely a talker and a communicator. And so we always have a lot of open dialogue, a lot of talking about feelings, perspectives, just doing the best to give everybody an understanding. We are big on, so I'm glad that you brought up human design, because, like I totally love it. It's my jam. I'm glad that we introduced you to it, and now you're like on board and you understand how it fits in your family dynamic, and then understanding yourself and how that can help you with your clients too. So in our home, we're really big on, like, even Isla, my 5-year-old, she totally gets human design, and she's like, I'm a projector and mom's a manifesting generator. And I love it because this is something I did for as long as I can remember, is really trying to see our family as a unit, but also individuals. And I always had the understanding, of course, after I had kids, not before, that you can have two kids who are parented in the same kind of dynamic, with the same parents in the same house, that go to the same school, and they're totally different. So I had this understanding after I had multiple kids that you can have values and you can instill them, but you cannot parent one kid the same as another kid because they're so different. And once I found human design, or human design found me, it really took that truth of knowing that everybody's individual, everybody's a little bit different. It's kind of like a blend of love languages too, like I love the book, The 5 Love Languages. But once I found human design, it was like I had something tangible to be able to see kind of who my kids were and how they worked a little bit more, so that I could in return understand them, respect them, and do my best to see them as that individual energetic being and meet their needs. To also, like, I kind of going off on a tangent, but I really want to talk about human design and how it fits into the parenting and how I do it. And you'll really appreciate this. Is like when we're giving parenting advice, we can do it from our own perspective of like how we show up in the world. But if we don't understand our children or our spouses or other people, it's kind of like that information can get lost on them, not even relevant. My son Wyatt, he is a very logical thinker. He's very meticulous. He's got like an engineer brain. He thinks things out a lot, and he will continue to work through something mechanically and mentally until he gets it. And it will become very frustrating for him. And I am like that, but also like not like that at all. And so I remember telling him before I knew about human design, like, if it's frustrating you, just put it down and come back to it. Like, stop thinking about it, which is hilarious now in hindsight because I have an undefined mind. He has a defined mind. Like, his brain, his mind is designed to like work it out, hold it, think about it. Whereas mine is not. I'm like, got nothing up in here. Just like, let it go, come back to it later. He is very different. The process is very different. And he needs that hands-on mental stimulation and focus until he works his way through it. I'm very different. And so my advice of like, just don't think about it was absolutely ridiculous. So.
Can you explain a little bit more about defined and undefined, what that means?
Sure. So in human design, there are centers, which are areas where you have either consistent, basically access to that energy and what it kind of corresponds with. And then if you are undefined, you do not have consistent energetic hookup, if you will.
Okay.
So for instance, defined throat, you and I both have that, correct?
Yes.
So we use our voices to not only communicate, but to manifest and to speak. Your centers can be connected to other centers. So like if it was connected to your mind, it would be like you speak your mind. If it's connected to the self center, you were speaking there. If you were there, if I had a chart that I could show everybody, if you don't know what human design is, like go on, do a little bit of research. It's an amazing tool. I like to use it. It's kind of like a mix between astrology, numerology, all these different modalities, but it really helps you understand about yourself. It can help you understand where you are influenced and where you influence others.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah, it has been extremely helpful too to understand different dynamics and differences between our family. So you have 3 projectors in your family, 1 generator. The generator is like has access to the sacral energy, which is a very go long-term kind of energizer bunny. Projectors are very they can be, if they're using it properly, very wise with their energy and their points. And so make very good leaders and teachers and system creators. But they are best working in small spurts. So like 2 to 3 hours of like this genius information coming through. And then it's like, okay, cool. Then we need a rest. Whereas generators can typically, if they are following what really lights them up, what brings them joy, is to just like go endlessly with this energetic boost, if you will. But knowing that dynamic, like in your household, is very, very helpful, right? You're like, oh, my generator really needs to be using his energy. He needs to use this up. It would be hard for him to like sit still and take these different rests, especially if he has something in his sacral that's like keeping him going, you know? I love the the dynamic in my house is like, I like to use Wyatt and Piper as an example. Wyatt is a generator. Piper is a manifesting generator. And she is like doing 5 things at one time and like bouncing around and like, like listening to music and singing and dancing while she's baking and getting this and that. And my son Wyatt is a generator and he is like, okay, 1 step through, then the second step through, and he will become like an expert level at this one thing before he moves on. And, you know, the rest of us man gens are just like, anyways, how can we do as many things at one time as we can? And then like, we'll come back around to the beginning. And then, you know, projectors. So like Isla and my Bridger are just like kind of observing and telling us how we can better do what we're doing in a more efficient manner. We don't like to use the term bossy at our house, but I would best describe projectors in my house as bossy. And like, my way is the best way, do it this way, but like, I don't want to do the work.
I love that. I love how you work with it. Just like how everything that you just said about describing your kids and how you're like, yeah, that's Manny Jen's over here doing it like this. And then our projectors, it painted such a good picture of like all of you guys together and how like an interaction would be with you guys. And it seems very, I mean, at time, I bet it's very fun at the same time with all of that. Like, if there's like bumps in the road or other things that are happening, it could probably seem very intense as well. But knowing those tools and knowing those things probably help you like navigate all of that stuff way better than before. It, you know, way better than even knowing it may seem a little more crazy, you know, different level of crazy in there. But I love that. I love that. I know human design is something that you are super passionate about. What else are you passionate about?
Girl, you know me, like all things. Like,
Can you pick? Can you pick one? I'm not really sure, but is there one that you would like to chat about today?
Sure. Okay. So I would say my number one, no, it's not even number one. My one that I'm just going to talk about today is intuition is my jam.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So like, everything in my life for the last maybe 10 years has been a result of growing my intuition and learning to trust myself, because I did not always trust myself. Like, I outsourced all of my life to other people who I felt could better tell me what to do with my life, what to think, what to feel, and what I should do. And that has been a really big part of my life for the last, I keep saying 10 years, like I have it stopped on 10 years, but I know that that's not true because my oldest is almost 13. So it's like way more years than that.
Well, time's a tricky thing, right? We always say that.
Time is weird.
Yeah.
Time is weird. But I'm a big, huge, passionate proponent of listening to your intuition, identifying your intuition, and following it. And that really goes along with so many other things that I'm very passionate about, right? Like living your life for you, like identifying and going after your freedom, like following your own path despite what anybody else is saying, like not doing the logical thing, but doing the thing that's calling to you in your gut or however you hear your intuition. So that, and like, I am such a big fan of local businesses and movers, shakers, dreamers, doers, believers, magic makers. I'm so big on shouting out my community. Like I would say that's my unofficial job title that I don't get paid for. But if you own a local business and you are just a rock star person, I am going to shop, share, and shout you out, because not only am I a business owner and a small business owner twice over, but I did this before I even owned my own business. Like I just love home, and my community is my home. And if you're here to live your dream, follow your intuition, and create this in hometown, like I am so there for you. I will do anything I can to elevate you, because I just believe in people that believe in their message and believe in their dreams.
Yes. Yeah, I love that. I love the support. I love that. And I really like what you said about the following your intuition and trusting yourself. That is like a whole subject all in its own, right? Like that is a whole thing. I mean, I feel like as women and moms, you know, like there's so many levels to this that you could unfold. Like we could go off on like 10 tangents about this, but like, I feel like until you make the decision to be like, oh, okay, I need to, you know, to decide like, oh, I need to actually pay attention to what I want versus, like you said, the outside sources. When you start turning inward instead of looking out for the verification, that's, like you said, when the magic happens. That's when things start to happen and come out. But having the awareness to do that, you know, there's some of us like me, for example, back in the day, things would come to me strong, and I would get that message and have that gut feeling. And then a logic, like, you know, then what I call my brain dragon would come in and be like, nope, that's not it. You know, that's not going to happen. You're just, you know, XYZ. But it was very clear and strong to me. And then whatever that message was that I received, it happened. For example, I had a dog, was like 9 months old, and we had been house sitting because we had friends where the dogs were from the same litter. And we house sat for him because he went to another country and they got along really well, and they're boxers. So they need to have like all this energy out. They're like little, I think they're like clowns, you know, they're like little fun dogs that like to be goofy. They're one of my favorite dogs. But they were playing together for the whole week. And then he's like, since you've had 2 boxers, because it's a lot of energy and a lot of stuff, he's like, why don't I take them away from you for a couple nights so you can just have a break and not have to deal with dogs, you know, for a couple nights. And I was like, you know, they play well together. That's fine. Go ahead. Well, when my friend started to leave the house, like as he turned towards the door to leave the house, I like received the message, like, you're never, like that strong feeling I'm never going to see him again. I'm never going to see him again. And I was like, he's just going to hang out for a couple days. I mean, geez, like, you know, why am I making a big deal of it? Was what my brain dragon was saying, right? But it was very clear and strong. And within 24 hours, I got a phone call from my friend that said, somebody has taken your dog out of my backyard and I cannot find him. Yeah, I know. I was like, and of course, you know, when I get the message, it's like instantly, it's like, and I go right, and it takes me right back to the feeling and the time and the place and me watching the dog go out of the door, like reminding me like this message was given to you. And I'm like, holy moly, like this was totally a gut feeling and I did not listen. I didn't listen. I pushed it aside because I let my brain dragon swoop in and tell me otherwise. It's such a tricky thing. And so when I started receiving messages like that, I'm like, hold up. I need to pay more attention to me. I need to, turn inward and really follow myself and trust myself and practice and build that muscle. And I got to silence this dragon up here because I'm over that.
Yeah.
I need to listen to what is, And so that's about, this was, I don't even know how many years ago. This was years and years. This was like when my oldest was like a babe and he's 17 now. So this was like a way long time ago. But once I started getting strong messages like that, I'm like, okay, I'm hearing you, and then being willing to listen to that. I think it's such an important message to share, tell about the intuition moments, tell about the gut feelings and the messages that you're getting and sharing those. So, other women can be more aware of theirs and looking inward versus out, for the verification of what is true to them. So that's like, to me, that's like a mic drop thing. Like, oh yeah, you want to talk about this? Like, this is a whole nother thing. So thank you for sharing that. I think it would be really cool if we actually really got into the nitty gritty of that and like just had a discussion about, times and places and things in like a future episode for us to talk about all those intuition moments. I think it would be kind of cool. Or like the little, winks from the universe too for verification that tell us on our own versus, other people you were saying. I think that would be a fun episode to do in the future. Well, is there anything else that you would like to share with us as like a little intro to who you are or things you're passionate about or anything else to add to today's episode?
Yeah, well, I guess if I could just share anything with your viewers or your listeners, what do you call it? This is your podcast now.
I know. It's going to be fun. It's going to be so much fun. It's going to be so much fun having you on here as a regular co-host with me. I think it's going to be great.
Yes. Well, especially, you'll talk about it, but that we're family, that we've been, partners in believing / partners in dreaming, however you want to call it. We call it different things for the last couple of years now. So we've built this relationship and seen each other grow and helped each other, overcome challenges and continue to see the vision and follow your intuition, right? It's your navigation system. It's the most important thing I think that you can follow in your life, and no one else can tell you. This is hilarious because I'm an oracle. I do channels. I do intuitive sessions with people that are very accurate and very helpful. But you are your main source of intuition. You have the navigation system within you. And when you can build that and you can cultivate it and you can create it and you can nurture it and nourish it, and treat it with respect by listening and following it, you're going to be the most powerful, unstoppable person in your life. You already are. Just like your stories, like how many times do you disregard your inner knowing because of whatever reason? Reasons that I have heard of from clients, and my own personal experience is probably the most beneficial and most powerful, is like, who am I to know that? In the beginning, I remember thinking like, oh, only certain people can have this. Who am I to know this? How could I know this? And at the time, I did not trust myself. And if you don't trust yourself, you won't trust your intuition. You won't build it. It will not become clear. To listen and understand your intuition and receive the messages, you need to be able to tell yourself the truth. You need to be able to trust yourself. And how you trust yourself is tell yourself the truth. And it's this unfolding and learning about yourself that will bring yourself into relationship with your intuition and your life, and you will become intimate and it will grow. And you'll learn just this whole new truth about yourself. So it makes me emotional because like it's such a very important part of my life and becoming when I started doing that and trusting myself, and the things that came because of it, and the way that I'm living my life now, and the things that I have materialized because of it, and the things that I didn't even know that I wanted that I'm living now. So many people, I think they don't really even know what they want. So they're just like
Right.
Dipping in and dipping out, or being, lackluster with their life because they truly don't know what they want. And they feel unsatisfied and like, I'm not getting what I want. But if you ask them, what is it you really want? I guarantee they wouldn't really, really know.
Right.
I don't know what I want, but just not this.
Yes.
Okay, but what is it that you want? And then it unfolds, and like a lot of people are afraid to dare to dream.
Yes.
Because what if they don't get it? And you'll probably never get it if you don't even unfold and be able to speak it out loud to yourself and begin to think about what you want. And then begin to feel into how that might materialize into your life by following your intuition, right?
Right.
I don't even know where I started in this conversation, and I will just like get on these tangents, but thopefully there's some, bits of helpfulness sprinkled out.
No, your tangents are great. Your tangents are great. I love it. It's like, ooh, what else is going to come out? What else is she going to say? I love that stuff. Thank you for sharing. Well, thank you for being on today and introducing yourself and giving us a little background. This is going to be so much fun to continue to do this and build this relationship. I'm so happy that you shared all of your stories today, and we will hear from you again very soon.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to say thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, learned something new, or got a juicy takeaway that will bring in that heck yeah back into your life. I release a new episode each week, so make sure to subscribe. If you love the show, want to share a story, comment below. If you know someone that would love or need this episode, be sure to share it with them. I'm sure they would love you for it. Tag me and find me on social media at Ignited Decisions on Instagram and Shauna with Ignited Decisions on Facebook. I would love to know what episode you listened to and how it helped you, as well as connect on social. Okay, mamas, claim your time and release your inner power.